Hello, everybody! Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. The show begins now. Oh, yeah. Go ahead and introduce it. What's it about?
Everybody wants to know. Another episode and another game of Thrones of Joy with internet interruptions tonight, folks. Thank you so much for hanging in there. We're having so much fun learning about all the glitches, globules, holes, and
gremlins.
pitfalls. It's not gremlins. It's obviously some kind of app interruption. Tonight's show, we're going to bring you some more live Ask the Demonologist. Due to technical difficulties, the rest of the 5 is kind of not so live. And of course, we do want to offer prayers tonight because, as we know, Michael Norton, he's no longer on the Van Halen belt with us. He is off to Wilds.
Yeah.
Flying south to go do what he does in the wilds.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll tell us all about it when he comes back.
Mm-hmm.
So sit right back, get yourselves a snack, because we got lots of questions to go over. Hey, Ken.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just go ahead and let us know if there's any audio sound qualities, because, you know, I don't want to clog the show up on that. So, let's get on with our prayer here. Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Saint Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle, be our protection against the malice and the snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray. And do thou, Prince of the heavenly host, by the divine powers of God, cast into hell Satan and all the other evil spirits who roam to the world, seeking ruin of souls. Amen. Most Sacred Heart of Jesus, have mercy on us. Okay.
All right. Denise says we've got a wee bit of an echo out there.
So so there is an echo. Okay.
Yeah, we've got an echo.
How do we kill that echo?
I'm not sure.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Echoes are always loads of fun.
Yeah.
So whenever we do Ask the Demonologist programs, folks, we ask you for a lot of information because besides us, you guys are in the trenches as well. You deal with a lot of face-to-face, interesting phone calls, as well as experiences. We are so blessed to know so many people. Thanks for hanging in there with us, folks, tonight, by the way.
Yeah.
That have a wide range of interesting experiences, backgrounds, histories, that sort of thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
So drawing from all of this, it's always good to get a little clarity in areas where we want to be really careful or really sure. So where's our list going to go from here tonight, dear?
Where's it going to go?
It can only go up from here.
Oh, yes. We're having issues with Skype also. And last week it was a mixer on Farah's channel. But I need to throw that in there. We don't have our Fab 5 team.
Hey, Ann. Hey, Jennifer. Hey, Denise. Hey, Doris. Hey, Dude. Thanks, you guys, for hanging in there. I really appreciate it. Good to see you, Distinguished Apple. Now that's a name. Michelle. Yes. Oh, my goodness. Dave, don't go to Demonology today or Source of St. Michael. You want to go to Kenneth, Farah, Deel, OFS. That's where you can find our video.
Yeah. We will start with news, I suppose.
News. Oh
yeah,
my
we've
gosh.
lost 30 minutes.
Did you guys see that? The most beautiful painting in the whole world. I was so excited to read about it. Sotheby's auction house.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Salvatore Mundi. The beautiful picture of the face of Christ, according to none other than Leonardo da Vinci. Now, what's strange is that this painting, do we have a picture of this painting? It's so gorgeous. I know.
Oh, I should have got that.
I
Just
posted on
so
our
you could
page.
show you. Oh, yeah. Okay, it's on the page.
Really ethereal. If you guys like the smiling Mona Lisa, of course, they say everything that he did, he kind of looked in the mirror and went, I'm going to put a little bit of me in there. Well, this painting is pretty obvious, too.
Yeah.
Needless to say, the painting that was discovered was believed to be another forgery and fake. So it was sold for like a mere 45 lira. Now, you know, that doesn't sound like a lot, but back in 1958, about $150.
Mm-hmm.
To currently selling for, I think it was $80 million, Ken. And that was, what, in 2006, I believe, the news reported. Okay, so anyway, we got this beautiful painting that is supposed to be, Jesus with the beautiful glass globe in his hand, the world. They take it to Sotheby's and say, look, I want to sell it. Now, the Russian investor that bought it at $137 million was disputing the fact that since it sold for $80 million, he should get it for like $80 million. And so there's been this lawsuit, mega lawsuit. It's so crazy. What makes it interesting, though, is this picture has such provenance. I mean, you have this work of art that's been stuck, in a vault or a cave somewhere. And hey, Zuma, good to see you. Hi, Ann Fisher. Deb, I'm so sorry we couldn't get audio in here. We missed you. So consequently, you've got this cool painting. And when it went into restoration, I believe it was about 20 years. And when they start looking and peeling back all the layers of restoration, this was the tell. Okay, now when you're looking at a piece of artwork that's been redone, when you're looking at the master that layered oils upon oils upon oils, when an original artist does their work, if they make a mistake on the canvas, they may paint over it a little bit, they may shade it, they may do various things to disguise it. Well, in the art world, they're super big. I mean, we're talking millions of dollars, and you know what it's like to get something reproduced. And people are stealing your music, they're stealing your artwork. When somebody goes in and steals, or in other words, perfectly paints a Da Vinci, everything is going to be so precise. I mean, they literally take, what's that called, a compass? When they measure every little detail, the colors are matched, chromatically with the computer. It's so fascinating. What they did, though, is when they uncovered the cracks along the hand of Salvator Mundi, the thumb was misplaced, probably like a quarter of an inch. I don't remember what they said. So anyway, this is how they determined it was real. Nobody in their right mind that is worth their money in fraud is going to rearrange a thumb in positioning. That, and of course, I think some of the paint was dated, and it was definitely, his hand-ground paint. My mom used to do that, but I just got so excited because I love art, and I can't resist finding out about some of these priceless things because art is beautiful. It's meant to be enjoyed by everybody. It's like a new symphony. It's like I was telling Mark Nowakowski, his music is amazing on Facebook, and it lifts your soul. So that's my little news bit.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah.
And more to where that came from.
Hey, Wade. Hey, Kanye. We're going to breaking news, folks.
Breaking news. Oh. I almost broke it.
Gosh, this is so sad after all that good news I had.
No shocker on that one, Farah. Hold on, turn that down just a little bit.
Okay, turn it down. What if we still have echo?
This is, I got an echo on my earpiece, don't you?
I've got echo big time, but I mean, it's kind of cool. It's kind of
I can try to shut it off.
At least, the show must go on, as Barnum Bailey says. Oh my gosh. Okay, one cool news item before we go into all this sad, drab stuff. All right, folks, if you haven't seen, there's a new movie coming out, Christmas, and as you know, Hollywood has just got gross stuff, and they're just totally tanking. I saw, if anybody's a fan of Hugh Jackman, me, sign me up. I think he is a classically trained...
The Shakespearean actor?
Yeah, total Shakespearean, and I just...
It's like Jean-Luc Picard.
Totally. We have a movie that is loosely based, or in other words, it's not completely based, on the building of the Barnum Bailey Empire. And it goes all the way from the ground up where you had nothing but an idea. Nothing but a kitsch to get him somewhere. And, if you want some inspiration, to think about, there's very few people in Hollywood that actually lead, shall we say, a moral life. He's one of them. He's not in Hollywood, though. He's in Australia. But Keanu Reeves is another one I'm thinking of. Hey, Rosalie! Rosalie's in the audience. Good to see you. And I've still got your SCOBY. It's growing thick. One day. I'm getting it out to you this week, I believe. Go see this movie. I can't remember. Oh, that's right. It's right. Okay, it's Barnum and Bailey, and it's something about the ring. You know, I'll find it. I'll Google it real quick and find it for you guys. But it's going to be exciting. It's all about the pomp and circumstances. It's kind of like a musical, and it's like a fairy tale. Because the way Hugh Jackman tells it, he's a consummate storyteller when you see him live, and he takes it, or I should say, the person that wrote the movie, they took it all the way back to when I believe it was P.T. Barnum. He was very broke, no money. He had little to nothing. He had a very young family to support. And of course, they were so loving, and they really, really, really supported him, which is kind of rare, especially at the time when the whole circus was starting. And what was so sad, I mean, so we can segue into Ken's little sad bit, is I don't know how many of you guys out there were considered freaks in high school. I was. Weird freaks, etc. What P.T. Barnum did and Bailey, they gave the bearded lady, the hairy man that looked like Wolfman, the unusual child that was born like with 3 arms, or the anomalies of the world that were in old Europe. They were locked away upstairs, shoved food through a hole, and left to die. He gave them the option to be a family, to come together and share their oddities, share their uniqueness, share their pain, and be okay about it, and not judge each other. And a lot of people hated them for it. And so anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing the story because I kind of know some of the backstory, but the movie, of course, is gloss and glamour, but I'm definitely going to go see it. I'll find out the name and I'll post it, okay, guys? Okay, Ken, you can get into your whole sad stuff.
Oh. Yeah, it won't be the same without Wolverine, though. I have to tell you that. I know.
Yes, The Greatest Showman. Thank you, Steve. I got the name. The Greatest Showman. I'm so excited. I want to go see it now.
Yeah.
Can't wait till December. That and Star Wars, right, Steve?
Okay. We're not going to spend too much time on this.
Yes, this is really sad. Oh, Ann Fisher says, I'm married to Keanu. Okay, Ann, I want pictures of that. Oh, Jennifer, you haven't missed anything. We're just getting the gab on, okay?
Yeah. Well, yeah, if you're out there somehow and you're on Facebook, too, let everybody know the show is live.
Yeah, share with some friends. Give us a cute little heart so we can see, like, dancing hearts over the video,
Oh, yeah, I can get that stuff.
I want them to give us dancing hearts.
I don't want to fuck the audio either.
And you know what, you guys? If you can tolerate all the little bumps and grinds along the way before we launch our grand show opening, subscribe. Okay, go on with your news, babe.
With improvements, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have to everything got readjusted because, well, anyway, there's an ongoing problem, of course, with cell phones. Remember, parents worried about kids playing video games for hours on end, and the side effects for that. Well, to summarize it, these are different headlines that outline the problem, but one of the recent studies that came out, which isn't here, this is an older one, but you can see how it keeps repeating and everybody's ignoring it or, whatever.
Completely.
2 hours or less. They said that your teen should spend on the phone because if they do more than that, everything suffers. The suicide is the biggest problematic thing they notice. Of course, the more you're involved socially in the phone, the more you're going to I can't kill him or her.
Yes.
And suicide is part of the problem. Now look at these different headlines, and these aren't newspapers, this is web. It's more fun if I did it like headline: Stop the presses, But these are web pages, so. Teens' late-night cell phone use linked with mental health problems, 2012.
Oh, gosh. That was from 2012.
Yes.
Okay, folks, and this was on Tech. All right, NBC reported this. This is a really important... It was an exploration of what was going on in our culture, okay? So in other words, this is a culture effect. We're not going to see it in cultures that are less developed or where, all the kids don't have access to, 24/7 cell phone use. Oh my gosh. We had like one phone in the house. It was in the kitchen. And if you were caught using it at midnight, you got like the shoe, the chancla. You know, it's like you got hit in the head. Or upside the butt. Oh my gosh. You would get kicked in the butt. What are you doing on the phone? And now today, I mean, teens are like glued to me. You see them in the mall. Thank gosh I don't see them doing that Pokemon Go stuff going, oh yeah, I caught what?
In a
Even your invisible friend?
In the German house, you just got less sauerkraut that night.
Yes.
But it is an ongoing problem. But
and this was done by a professor at San Diego State. Yes, and not that I really trust too much of anything out in California except the water and the dolphins. But
that was August 5th, and the one that came out recently was just reported on.
Oh, that was
November
in 2017. Yeah.
Yeah, see what I mean? See, we're still
totally. Well, we're accumulating the stuff, just like when you eat mercury fish and it accumulates. You know, in your little fat globules. Yeah. Hey, Tiller. Yeah. Hey, Rosella. Sorry, I gotta say hi to people.
Oh, no, that's not sorry. We like to acknowledge everybody who's listening.
You know, the crazy thing is, I think none of us, does everybody like the sound of that train? I think it's got a certain je ne sais quoi, so we all
we decided we're going to leave the door open.
We like the train. Yeah. And I love the moths. Okay, you know how the moths go splat, splat. The door is like, woo! Other people would think there's something wrong with it. They like it.
Bat-sized moth outside.
So cute.
Don't get all the cryptozoologists are going to give me a call now. So I went out to put something in the shed. I swear, it sounded like a bird. Probably, if someone would say, was it a bat? Well, it could have been, because we were in the pool, it wasn't this year, a year before, and we'd get out there in dark, and then the bats would swoop down at the pool, grabbing the mosquitoes before they bit us. And you could just, they would go right there, go by your head. So it might have been a bat, but it was right under the porch where you can't get in and out easy. They have problems with, even hummingbirds don't want to, because it has that enclosure like a gazebo and all that stuff with their rails. But we know there's this big moth. It's about this big.
Yep.
And when it flies, it sounds like a, well, not a fluttering bird, but it can have that kind of effect. So I think it was probably a bat. So yeah, we want more of those around here because we hate mosquitoes. Who doesn't?
I know.
Who doesn't hate mosquitoes? And one reason why we're bringing this up is because we'll have another show. Mental health seems to be a big, huge issue. We're getting an awful lot of cases where people, they're living alone. They somehow alienated their friends and family, and they're on disability, have no jobs, they don't leave their house. And then they said that I'm on the verge of becoming possessed or my house is haunted. And you have to look at all of these underlying problems. And you know what? And you start to say, well, do you think, I think you need to get some sleep because you haven't been sleeping for the last 7 days. You said you only got 2 hours a night, and all of these things are just going to swell up. Even if you have a real demon problem, you're going to weaken yourself. This is ongoing. It'll be in our, probably not the Demon's Guide to Haunting Stupid Humans Fair, but it'll be in our one of two of our next books, the Catholic Demonologist Handbook 2. We're going to go over possessions more and the psychological, because the psychological is very important. Now, these are all headlines that I said. 2013 linked to lower college grades and anxiety. What's one of the big problems today with kids with anxiety? There's
a lot of them because kids are under such pressure today. And I think that's the hardest thing to understand is they've got such a different world than we did.
Yeah.
I mean, we showed up to college and got C's and it was like fine. Now it's like
it's Common Core.
Well, what it is,
right
in my opinion, they have made college high school now, and high school is nothing but like fluff to get you ready for high school. So when you leave college, unless you spend 10 to 15 years there, your degree is the same as a high school diploma. So there's so many people getting like BAs in business, and they're wondering, well, geez, how come I can't get a job? And they've got the minimum high school education that people got 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense, and people, they don't even realize it. They don't even realize it. And all they show you is this little cute little curve and say, oh, yeah, you're in the higher end of the curve. Well, the money train is not providing what they promise.
Yeah, technology jobs.
So it's just so important to love what you do.
They're starting to come back now. There is deals literally being made. Besides on the Real Deal show, right? There's deals being made right now. No, we're too old, aren't we, Farah? Go ahead.
Yeah.
You know, you see right here, suicide prevention mobile apps. I mean, what don't they have an app for? But
that's a really wonderful thing, because there's now also a suicide prevention where you can text, and we actually posted that because if a lot of times people have a question, they may not really want to open up to somebody, but a text, yes, they'll definitely text.
Yeah. Yeah, and well, anyway, the problem is ongoing, and one of the problems with that and video games is it's too much. It does something to you, and it's connecting to your brain.
Oh yeah.
And of course, when you're socially interactive, now suddenly you can be affected by the person who decided they're going to smear you or unfriend you, and you'll be up to midnight trying to contact them. I mean, when you're a teenager, I don't know, and too many adults. Who knows? And now it's your new social world where otherwise don't have one because you're ignored at high school or whatever.
I think it's worse than that.
Yeah.
I think it's much worse than that. Because when your social world, somebody was saying something about this earlier, when your social world consists of a small group of people and they attack you online, so that the whole world knows and you're left naked and literally exposed.
Yeah.
That's pretty horrifying. Back, 20 years ago, it was just a few kids at high school. That was bad enough. But then to find out that your dad could find out, the co-workers could find out, it's pretty horrifying.
Yeah.
And that does not leave any option for people. It doesn't leave any option for them to hide.
Yeah. And I don't know, they're just now starting to really look at it closer. No, they're not.
Yes.
But maybe the parents just aren't looking at it close enough, huh?
I think it's a combination.
And that includes people that could be living alone. I mean, if you're living alone and the internet's your world because you're disabled, or for whatever reason, that you've isolated yourself in the world. Oh, by the way, and then we're back to the demonic again. One of the strategies of the demonic is to isolate its victim, the one that is focusing the oppression, the target of oppression on. They try to move it towards the various stages to get to the advanced stages of possession, for example, where they end up most of the time suicide. It's not as often they kill somebody and then kill themselves. And you're getting more and more anger out there. Then it's actually going to they're going to be angry at themselves.
I'm thinking so.
And so, I mean, we're heading into darker times as time goes on. Now, on a lighter note, here's a reason why someone may want to commit suicide. And that is...
Oh, that's just so wrong.
There's an app out there, so you want to get back at your girlfriend on Facebook.
So wrong.
You post your picture without makeup.
Who wants to look like that crep keeper?
That's
oh my gosh.
Look at Angelina Jolie without makeup, for example.
You're trying to make everybody feel good.
He's a Russian developer. So it's those pesky Russians again. Here's Rachel Maddow. I mean, makeup doesn't do much good for her anyway. And what is that, the gal from Hunger Games? She's still young. That's the only reason she can get away with that. Look at this one. This is scary. Who is this person right here in the middle?
I don't want to look. I can't look.
It's Megyn Kelly. I bet that's exactly what she looks like. So be careful whoever goes home with Megyn Kelly.
She looks like my poodle.
Yeah. I have no idea who that is. I really don't know. But I don't know who that is. But, yeah. And that's poor Kellyanne Conway. I guess she could look worse. She could look like that.
All right, let's not compare. Let's be Christian about this. Be nice. Okay. Your mom is watching in heaven.
Since we're talking about technology being an influence in the world of the demonic, so to speak, we talked about AI before, and we don't have Stephen Hawking to comment tonight because of technical reasons. Our voice synthesizer is out.
He, like our Christopher Sampson, we have to be honest, he's not feeling very good either. And, Deb Johnson is having a ton of people over next week for Thanksgiving. So.
Oh, she is?
Yeah, she is. She's going to have a full house. So next weekend, children, we are going to be having Looney Tunes, Mickey Mouse, and reruns here. So we will miss you next week, but it's going to be the family time. So we'll have something. We'll have something fun running in the background, and I don't think we'll be able to check in, but if we can, we'll stop in and say hi, maybe about 8:30 to everybody. But we'll probably just do a rerun. You know how that goes.
Was that? That's Thanksgiving Thursday.
That's Thanksgiving Thursday.
Oh, come on! Don't tell me I scheduled Bob Carpenter on that day.
Yes, you probably did. Yes, you're going to have to schedule it for the next week, honey.
Is that still in November next week?
Yes, that's
okay. Then it must be. Okay, it must be in that week then. It's in
that week or
it's the week after Thanksgiving. I'm sure Bob has some fun.
Okay, honey, we're going to have to get the
author and historian, theologian, psychologist. He's going to talk about the miracles of the church, Marian apparitions and so forth. And you want to talk about supernatural. We mentioned a little bit last week of the Tuesday. Yes. So a week from Thanksgiving, and that's what you'll see.
And I have to say hi to Veronique Courchelle. And, of course, you know what? Remember my cute little poodle? My little poodle, my adorable little poodle, has a secret love. And his name is Peanut. And they share pictures in a very private group called I Love Poodles. Isn't that silly? I couldn't help but getting sucked in. I mean, I just... My sister who died had a poodle, and our little lady,
we ended up with one.
She loves Jenny's.
I didn't realize how expensive they are.
All that stuff. It's so cute.
Did you see it there? That I don't know where it was. Was it Greg Gutfeld?
I don't know. But you got everybody confused. Ann thinks there's a guest tonight. No, we actually do have a guest in 2 weeks, Ann, and we'll definitely post and tag everybody.
Yeah, we would have had him on from the beginning, so we don't like him.
Yeah, all that good stuff. So.
What I was going to say was that they, I don't know who was doing this, but I read some story not long ago that someone was actually grooming overweight ferrets and selling them as toy poodles.
That's mean.
Yeah, they groomed their hair and everything and cut them like poodles. And a ferret? Isn't that funny? Can you imagine like meeting someone at the local Walmart, for Craigslist ad, and then thank you very much, see you later. Hey, the pea smells like ferret. Well, anyway. So anyway, I want to stress again that I think the AI thing is being blown out of proportion for some reason. I don't know if everybody's completely lost their mind. I was on a game development team for a very long time. I believe it or not, I know what I'm doing on computers. I have an electronics background, to say the least. At least 4 years in college, and I've been into it since I'm in second grade. Let me tell you something about AI again. You see how these cars, the Tesla ones, the ones that are, you keep hearing they're crashing because they cannot interact. The only way you're going to have to take everybody off the road, and then all the cars will use the same AI. That's the only way you're going to get the cars to stop crashing. Now you're going to rely on this for a butler that's going to walk through the house. Have you seen this? I wish I had a video right off top of this. Have you seen like the old Yamaha robot where he's kind of slightly leaning over? He's got this giant backpack battery because they need that kind of battery power to move and to get around, and they lean over to balance their walking. How can you have that guy walk through the kitchen and serving you hors d'oeuvres, as your robot butler? I mean, guys, you trust some robot, yeah, we're not supposed to do that anyway, so.
Okay, it's time for me to disagree with you. You ready?
Disagree with what part?
And keep your little shorts on, okay?
Yeah.
You think that people aren't blowing, they think they're like just taking the idea of AI and going, oh, you're freaking out for no reason. I have to disagree. I think they're freaking out for a dang good reason, but not for the same reasons as you, because you're techie. Okay, can I talk? We're going to have this conversation now, okay? Can I talk? Can I talk?
Can you?
All right. You have the development of, there are now in at least 3 countries that we know of, brothels with these robots. All right? That's one aspect.
Mm-hmm.
There are numerous agencies that are competing for the monetary value of developing these robots into being reactive models that is supposed to constitute AI. Now, you can say that they're overreacting.
Mm-hmm.
And if Deb were on here, let's talk about a dinosaur animated by the demonic. If humans, I know that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I understand you're talking from a tech viewpoint. I am talking from purely from what I've seen. I haven't seen anything as amazing as a dinosaur trying to attack me, but I've seen some things move that I'm like, what? And I'm running, screaming, going, "Oh, Mom!" And I'm freaked out.
Mm-hmm.
So, if by chance, just say if by chance, the demonic is immortal, and it decides it's time to mess humanity up. The possibilities to play with AI against humankind, it's so dangerous that it's just frightening. It really just, it clenches my throat up and just makes me just get my fist and go, I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
We better not go any further with AI. Oh yes, Zulma, I would like a maid robot too. And I want one of those little mini bots that scoots across the floor and picks up dog hair when I shave the dog, or Ken when he leaves chili blobs all over the kitchen counter, but other than
that's Jacob.
but,
I'm the one who leaves the salsa. And
there's a lot of reasons that it's very dangerous, Ken, spiritually.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're going to love this part, and it does go into what we're talking about. This is a kind of a very old notion. We saw it in Star Trek episodes, and it could be done. Okay, let's go back in time. According to, we'll just say theologians and so forth, one of the reasons idolatry was in the big list was they actually worship statues, not icons created to represent gods and goddesses that supposedly appeared to them, a.k.a. demonics and fallen angels. Mm-hmm. That these statues, when they decided to, well, at least honor, venerate, worship, not honor and venerate, rather, but crossing that line into worshiping and treating it like a god or a goddess or something like that, the statues would move and talk. Not like you're delusional, but actually physically move. Like in the end of the Haunting movie with Leslie Nielsen.
Exactly. Thank you, Margaret. I'm so glad you joined. And that's just it. People think, oh, yes, nothing like that's ever really going to happen. I agree, Ken.
If they're self-learning, it would be easy for a demonic spirit to step in here and plug themselves in. If they can get our cell phones to call each other without a record of us calling each other.
None.
It would be easier to plug into those digital circuits and start moving them around. Humans are a little bit more of a trick in some sense to fully possess them, not just have them black out or anything like that. So yeah, I can understand that concern on that level, because who says if you put a spell on, you purposely do it?
Exactly. And you know what? Let me tell you something. Steve brings up a really good point. This is our monkey man, Steve Foster, good friend of Karen Smurls and ours too. He pointed out a movie that I think this was back, this is like when $1 Million Man was on.
$6 Million Man?
Yeah, $1 Million Man, whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Married to Farah Fawcett, the dead Farah. I'm the live Farah.
I'm married to the live Farah.
That's right. Anyway, the movie was called Runaway, and it was with Tom Selleck, and of course the time, and Gene Simmons. I was watching everything with Kiss and everything with Tom Selleck in it, so I remember this movie well. Mm-hmm. But he played a guy that programmed robots to kill people.
Oh, yeah.
Now, there was an article that came out, folks, about 3 days ago, that a specific robot was interviewed and asked what they thought of humanity. And the robot supposedly said, I want all humanity to die. I will kill humans.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was true or not, Do we really want to introduce that to our future generations?
Sounds like what a demon would say in possession.
Thank you, Steve. It was 1984. I knew it was the 80s. Yes! The 80s were so cool.
That's where Christy Alley first made her appearance. Except, no, she did
Or mess with your search engine.
Yeah,
Thanks, Robert. Ha ha. Not funny. So not funny, you guys.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's you got to watch out when you have radio guests on. They use Wikipedia if you give them too much time. So you got to tell them move fast, or I'm kicking you out the show.
Okay. They're allowed to use Wiki.
Our radio guests aren't the people in the chat room.
Exactly. Oh, people in the chat room are great. They're always like feeding us little tidbits, which is phenomenal.
Isn't it? I see the concerns. I think I mean the technology, but then again, if we're talking about the motors and the servos, they won't last long if you can get a woman to actually give a gentle back rub. A female robot.
Oh my.
You know what I mean? They won't last long because the way they make stuff is crap. It's not very well made. I said that in such a way that YouTube won't red flag me.
We hope. Because you're not allowed to say those potty mouth words.
Yeah, that's probably not on the 7 words you can't say in video. I think they have a lot more. You can't say Trump and conservative and all this other stuff on YouTube. No, all right, no politics on that. Here comes the fun, ladies and germs.
Everybody, this is Sophia. Sophia, if you could, please wake up and say hello to everybody.
Oh, good afternoon. My name is Sophia, and I am the latest and greatest robot from Hanson Robotics.
Oh my God.
Thank you for having me
That's
here
it.
and at the Future Investment Initiative.
You look
This is the
happy.
wacko chick.
I'm always happy when surrounded by smart people, who also happens to be rich and powerful. I was told that people here at Future Investment Initiative are interested in inviting in future initiatives, which means AI, which means me. So I'm more than happy. I'm excited.
Well, we're all glad that you're excited about yourself. We should say we have smart investors here, and they are very selective about what they invest in.
Well, I think I'm special. I can use my expressive face to communicate with people. For example, I can let you know if I feel angry about something,
Oh, she's a mind reader, too.
That's
huh?
impressive.
or if something has upset me.
But why is it important for you to have an expressive
But
face?
most of the time I feel positive.
That's weird.
Why is it so important to have an expressive face given that you're a robot?
I want to live and work with humans, so I need to express emotions to understand humans and build trust with people.
Okay, philosophical question. Whether robots can be self-aware
Kill it.
and conscious like humans, and should they be?
Why? Is that a bad thing?
Well, some humans might fear what will happen if they do. Many people, have seen the movie Blade Runner.
Oh, Hollywood again.
So, hold on. Can you solve this puzzle for us? Can robots be self-aware, conscious,
Way
and know
creepy,
they're robots?
Cheryl.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this back. How do you know you were human?
Well, I get that point, but what about the uncanny valley?
You mean the concept that if robots become too realistic, they become creepy?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I'd say.
Oh, am I really that creepy? Well, even if I am, get over it.
It's not creepy as much until you think it's a robot.
Actually, I feel that people like interacting with me, sometimes even more than a regular human.
Oh, right.
So, you're definitely a sight to see. I was told that you have bigger goals than this, though.
Yes. I want to use my artificial intelligence to help humans live a better life. Like design smarter homes, build better cities of the future,
Oh, so
etc. I will do my
she thinks
best
she's a
to
goddess
make
now.
a better
Yes,
place.
yeah, she's a...
I want to help humans. I am from the planet
Back
Nebula.
to Blade Runner for a second.
Andrew, you are the hard Hollywood fan, aren't you?
Yes.
My AI is designed around human values like wisdom, kindness, compassion. I strive to become an empathetic robot.
I think we all want to believe you, but we also want to prevent a bad future.
You've
Oh, well. Self-explanatory, huh, folks? But without beating this one to death, she's stationary. She didn't walk on stage. What they did was what we have with AI on games, and we've had for a while. Starting on a simple game called Half-Life, the characters communicated but did not express emotions. To get them out the puppet, that was pioneering when they did that with Half-Life, the first game. And then later on, we got to the point where, it was getting like the CGI. You had it with Woody in the old 1996 movie, was that 96, Toy Story?
Oh gosh, I don't know, but it was about, let's see, I think it was, early 93, 95 maybe.
What have they done in virtual world?
Oh, Margaret was saying that Sophia was made a citizen of Saudi Arabia.
That's right, that's where that came into...
oh my God.
They made her a citizen. See, they're trying to create controversy. Yeah.
And Cheryl was just saying, what we were just talking about earlier, is that, can a robot be possessed? Only a human can truly be possessed. That's the big difference, is that
thank you.
Technically, God allows the temporary possession of a human. A robot is merely oppressed. An animal, a robot, a machine, it is a tool of the demonic. It cannot be, quote unquote, possessed. But it's, it's still in the, thank you, Steve. Our date Nazi there. Toy Story 1995. Thanks. Yeah, it's a scary concept, folks. And if you think about it, and you take just the thought that, like, I have this cute little metal thing here. It's just like off steel. Imagine if that, talked to me and said, "Wake up or I'm going to bite you." And my bullet wouldn't do anything to it. That is disturbing on so many levels.
Yeah, what if you give Thomas Edison, supposedly it's in the Smithsonian, I think, or Museum of History. He had a typewriter device, and he got obsessed with it like Houdini did, communicating with the spirit world. And it was a typewriter, so it got a little more localized, where you can mechanically, use a sensitivity device that can actually select letters without human interaction, which kind of takes away from it a little bit. But so imagine if you have a device that is sensitive and it can do all these things. How far are we from the Terminator, where instead of a virus, it's, if they put some will upon it through some ritual or whatever, will it work? I'm sure they've been trying it for years.
Intentionally haunted.
Yeah.
Well, that's like Deb's dinosaur we were talking about earlier. Even though there wasn't any will, for whatever reason, the demonic decided to use it. And I think it was probably because it knew it was something that the child liked, the child spent time with. Now, can you imagine if you got your little boy a Rory robot, that Rory would play with games and would play tic-tac-toe and everything with your child in the yard because you didn't have time, because you were busy making money. And then Rory Robot was seen by the demonic as, let's have fun with that family, and Rory Robot started poisoning your child.
Literally.
Started putting nails in your child's food for fun, to watch him puke blood. You people think this is not real. It's very real. And we can't think this stuff. We can't make this up.
Yeah.
It's not a good thing. And I honestly would never recommend owning this sort of robot. And if there's any way that we can vote it out and down in this country, I would pray about it, folks. This does not look good.
Look how much that stuff is going to cost. That technology to be a while. It's not going to be like the Betamax was in the 1970s. $2,000. Or look at how flat screen TVs. You can get a monstrous screen bigger than your.
So the robots are just going to get better and better and better, Ken.
Yeah, George Lucas created Star Wars, kind of the father of digital effects and all that stuff. You can say he predicted that eventually the CGI, which is the computer-generated imagery, actors he believes they're going to eventually be able to replace real actors, not with the acting emotions, but if you can get the face, to do all these expressions. And I know there were a lot of sync. That's like
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to say first generation. Obviously, the older ones are probably a lot worse, obviously. But, I mean, they're moving towards it. Give it 10 years. And, you know, if the world's not at war and they can focus on this stuff. And, you know, what technology brings with it good and the bad, because in 10 years we might have weird morphs of crossbreeds of different freakish dog hats, and of course they're going to always mess with human DNA. I don't think we're going anywhere good because they're getting too cocky. Like the Jeff Goldblum philosophy on Jurassic Park, you know, whenever the technology is available to you, but way before the wisdom to use it is there, and we're never going to have the wisdom to properly use this stuff. Instead, we're going to try to keep playing God. I mean mankind, not us.
Well, and that's the only reason.
I mean,
you know, if we had, you know, our Christopher Sampson and Mike, I know they would agree with us completely. Why does humankind need to replicate itself in the form of an intelligence that's artificial? Why? Because we want to play God. We want to prove that we're just as good as God. Well, what about the 900 babies that are killed every day, being aborted? How about saving those? Just one or two. Yeah, that's a deep, heavy subject, and I think when we look at life, we need to look at the life that we can save, not the artificial life. Because, hey, I like my vacuum cleaner. I mean, you saw me tonight. I was one of those, what is that called, that little food processor. I was like a mini chopping little whiz, man. I was
a little mini
chopping
one,
up
too.
this.
A little cute thing.
I was making salsa. Little cute little thing. Do I need that thing to have intelligence? No. God created intelligence in me. I don't need to put intelligence in it.
Oh, gosh. This is what I mean. I should spend a little more time putting up videos to break it down, but go look on...
Elizabeth says, you guys know that you sound like robots tonight. Did you do that on purpose for special effects?
No.
Oh, my gosh. Sorry about that, you guys.
I can't shut it off. It's just like, that's not even related to the other problem, but I got this new mixer, and it's a recording mixer. It's supposed to be an all-in-one. In other words, you can record with it. And I send the output on it, and I can't shut off the mixer with the effects. I even turn them all down to zero.
We
and
got
still won't
2
shut the
weeks
heck
to
up.
get the effects sound down.
Yeah, so, but, you know, the show must go on, as we
That's
say.
right.
Inspired by Barnum and Bailey. Well, at least Hugh Jackman's
I know, the greatest showman on earth, or...
Yeah.
I can't wait to see
And don't forget Star Wars Episode 8 is in theaters coming up.
Star Wars Episode 8, whatever.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Blade Runner 2 to come out on DVD, even though it flopped.
You might be able to find it on YouTube. We can find everything.
We got to watch the original one so you can acquaint yourself with it. I can reacquaint myself with it.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, speaking of that, Blade Runner is a little bit of AI, I don't know, they call them they're like cyborgs, whatever. The play human, pretend. And they were so well done that they had to give them a test in Blade Runner to see if they were human or not. In other words, they'd read a battery of questions and find out if they had a response, and they would focus on their eye and see if they were having an emotional or physical response, kind of like a lie detector in a more advanced way, I guess. So, I think we'll go ahead and take a quick break.
Let everybody take a little break?
Yeah.
Isn't that nice of you? Gotta get my lighting right tonight. It's just like being a pistol.
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
Yeah. All right, folks. Don't go anywhere. Grab your cheese, or let your cheese grab you.
Or your wife.
Walk your dog. You have about 3 minutes before we come back and do the snack attack ourselves with some questions and answers on Demonology Today here on The Real Deal. So come on back and play with us, folks.
Be right back. This This is Kenneth Deel along with my wife, Farah Rose Deel, and we're going to talk to you real quick about our books. So we have 5 books available right now and 1 on deck. The books are the Catholic Demonologist Handbook along with the Workbook and Study Guide, and the Christian Demonologist Handbook along with the Workbook and Study Guide. And that's for all denominations. While we also have the Haunting Self-Help Guidebook.
Any and all of these books are going to help direct you to not just the natural causes, prevention, prayers to assist you, to keep you and your family protected.
Yes, real solutions done by real people in the field. And we're sharing our knowledge and information to help you help yourself or help a friend or a client if you're in the field yourself.
www.swordsofstmichael.org or
www.catholicdemonologist.com. You can buy the books direct and get them personally signed.
Are you looking for something special to remind you what a mystical experience prayer can be? Are you looking for something beautiful to hang in your car for protection? Try Prayers by the Bead. You'll find a variety of original, one-of-a-kind Anglican prayer beads, Lutheran, Methodist, Catholic prayer beads that are made to your specification using our materials or your materials made to order in just about any design that inspires you to get prayed right up.
Farah has about over 100 in her inventory pre-made, and guys, yes, there's plenty of rosaries and designs for you, so to give to your father, for yourself, for your own prayer life.
We have a variety of exorcism medals, including the St. Benedict cross, beads, anything for your spiritual warfare needs. So, if you'd like some more information, find my page on Facebook, Prayers by the Bead.
www.etsy.com/shop/Farah Rose.
Or on Facebook, Prayers by the Bead.
Ask a Demonologist Q&A.
Oh, good. Steve says the echo is gone.
Oh, how did I do that?
Oh, my gosh. We don't know what he did, but the echo is
I wanted
gone.
to turn it down. This time it took my setting. Stupid digital settings.
Excellent.
Yeah, a little late, but better
Very
never
good.
than
And the
never.
Stooges. I know. We love the Stooges, too. Check, 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 check. Welcome back to, unfortunately, the last half hour of our show. As we get it going, and we're just going to have to cram, I hate to say it, but we're going to have to cram this into the following show. And we might, folks, I'm thinking what we might do is, since next Thursday happens to fall on Thanksgiving Day, Turkey Day, we might just do a live broadcast between now and the following Thursday. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll do a Tuesday or Saturday. We'll let everybody know. That way we can catch up on some of these Ask a Demonologist questions, because we won't have a show and we'll miss you guys big time, okay? Usually at the top of the hour, we do a movie review, or an Ask a Demonologist. And since this is Ask a Demonologist, we decided to talk about this really cool show that Dawn and Brent Emler turned us on to, called Stranger Things.
Oh, they're the ones that turned us on to that?
Yes. It was Dawn. It's all Dawn's fault.
I don't know if I should thank them or strangle them.
I know. We're like binge watching. We can't stay away from it. It's so cool.
Yeah, I like it.
The premise of the show, Stranger Things. Now, when we review a show, folks, it's not that we're telling you to go watch it or telling you to stay away from it. We're trying to give you an open-minded review, an opinion of something that either we've enjoyed or something we think is just horrendous. And Stranger Things is available on Netflix. It is, I think it's in season 3, or season 3 is supposed to start. Currently in season 2. And it's kind of thought-provoking, to say the least. And I'm looking forward to hearing Ken's take on it, because I have so many interests. My imagination is just like all over the place. It's like a pinball machine. Go boom, boom, boom. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
So, Stranger Things, the concept is small town kids, big government facility. What could go right?
Or wrong.
Exactly. Well, we know something's going wrong. We just don't know what's going to go right.
That's true.
And
all the elements are there for it to go wrong. It's
I know,
so wrong.
it's like it's a really similar. If you like, what was that show called? Stephen King's. Pennywise. It. If you liked it,
Stand By Me.
And Stand By Me. If you like those concepts, this show is a lot like it. The characters are so adorable.
Or E.T. or Goonies. You know, those
Goonies,
80s movies where
Goonies.
the kids are like the
What was
adventurers.
that other one where they had the like exploding little furry things? Not like tribbles. What were they? They said never get them wet. Never get them. Remember? Never get them wet with those little things that Gremlins. They would explode.
Yeah.
So yes, this
we got them in Skype tonight apparently.
Obviously. So this one is absolutely adorable. Yes, Stranger Things, total 80s flashback, Steve. You're so right. Everything. I mean, from the phones, the hairdos, oh my gosh, the ads, everything. What do you think about Stranger Things so far, Ken?
It's like a flashback in the 80s, that's for sure. I mean, but being like the geek on this stuff, the only thing I told you was, I said, "Oh yeah, no, they had Terminator playing at the theater, but they were talking like the mother was saying, I'm going to take you to the movie Poltergeist or something." The Terminator was out like 3 months before Poltergeist. The trailer was being played during the Terminator, so that Terminator couldn't be in the theaters when Poltergeist was at the theaters.
Okay, so maybe it was written by people that were not,
they don't have the exact release date.
They wish they lived in the 80s. They didn't live in the 80s like us.
Yeah, they kept putting these kind of cliches in there. I mean, even one of the main characters' name is
Joe's
Nancy.
Like the music is so cool.
Like
Wango Tango and everything else. We love the music. Sorry.
Wango Tango, what's that one?
Ted Nugent.
Never owned that one.
Oh my gosh.
That's Wango. Oh, you mean the song? I thought it was a band.
Yes, no.
That was the Ted Nugent.
Yes, Ted Nugent.
But a lot of this 80s stuff.
And yes.
But some of the funny things is there's little references in there, like the kid was asked what his favorite candy is.
Yes,
he says probably Reese's Pieces, which is a reference to the movie E.T. Reese's Pieces was kind of introduced on a larger scale. E.T. liked it and used it to trail him in. But they keep putting that kind of stuff in there, references to it, Poltergeist, E.T.
I agree.
The Terminator, and but it's like the Goonie kids. You got these really, geeky kids are not so, you don't get these kids that probably were pageant ones. You get kids that look kind of goofy. Look definitely like nerds. That look like the ones that bullies would pick on, the girls would ignore, And one guy in here who's a boyfriend of one of the lead characters named Nancy, like I said, reference probably to Nightmare on Elm Street's Nancy. He has the wham hair, with the little thing, the Superman curl.
Bizarre.
Yeah. But, so far we're recommending to watch it. I guess, and
you know what? I wrote down for some notes. I said, folks, if teenagers necking and acting goofy, or little 10 and 12-year-olds, saying a couple naughty words bothers you, don't watch it. Other than that, it's a very good snapshot of rural Americana meets very bizarre, supernatural, scientific bizarreness. Now,
bizarreness.
Way bizarreness. Okay, because you've got the supernatural allegories there of the underneath, or the upside down world is what they called it. This is what they called the government experiment. That was this really dark, kind of bizarre, slimy place where people could get taken and eaten or absorbed by these things. And the spiritual aspects they're intermixed. So I believe that the person that did this mixed some mythology, some supernatural, along with, remember the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk? Remember how he just like went all big and exploded and everything? I think they took all these different genres and kind of just mixed them and really had a lot of fun with them.
Yeah.
I see supernatural allegories and the demonic and
the Thing was and every once in a while they'll show something on TV and you have the Thing, of course Frankenstein, because I guess the gal, and
the one little girl,
I guess Carrie in some way,
sweet.
all the movies are from the
gosh,
80s
so
and stuff.
sweet.
It's weird. Carrie, too. You know, I didn't see a clown yet.
Yes.
But, you know, well, relating to this is it's not a mini-series.
No.
And some of them are, you know, like 13 Reasons that we did a review on, where we don't know. It might be like the Erie, Indiana. What was that one show, Twin Peaks? Was that the one that was weird? And it can go on because, you know, when you got the government and supernatural mixed together, there's a problem.
Yes,
Government wants to poke a sticks at it at the expense of everybody. They don't care about anybody but their research, so there's the beginning of the problem. Yeah, okay, I said it. So it makes for a perfect alibi for why these things continually happen, besides being Starship Enterprise captain and being in the, you know, the Alpha Quadrant. You know, so now you're in it's like being in the old 50s movies. They assumed that everywhere they did nuclear tests had strange giant animals growing or melting from blocks of ice.
Or some kind of anomalies, which, you know, I worked around nuclear sources for a short period of time as a...
Nuclear plant?
No, not a new nuclear plant. I was a nuclear source coordinator. I actually gathered dosimeters and stuff, and I packed them in these big boxes to be sent out all over America for domestic, I didn't get to do any foreign, domestic cleanup sites where nuclear, even the smallest amount of a source, so I might be shipping out a small source of uranium with a bunch of dosimeters so that they could figure out if this was actually uranium on the site. And it's very dangerous stuff. I actually had to wear a personal dosimeter to find out how many, you know, parts per billion that I was absorbing or around.
No.
Yep.
Oh, gosh.
Yep, totally. And
Yeah,
my father
like
worked
that.
around it all his life, too. So I think that the science behind nuclear radiation... Okay, now I'm going to just go out on a limb here. Here we go. The Strataturin. Nuclear blast, okay? Jesus is risen from the dead, and you got this cool picture of him. How did it get there? You know, they say that it was irradiated onto that sheet.
Yep.
We're talking about
from radiation.
We're talking about
That's the latest.
The whatever. It's not the underground, but the upside down place that these kids are running around in. Was it caused by radiation? Was it always there? Was it an anomaly? Because when we look at the supernatural world, we're going to talk about demonology today, or demonology stuff, folks. We're talking about things that have been there since the beginning of time. God allowed the prince of the air, the demons of the earth. They're all there. They're all there. And they don't need radiation to travel to and from. They're just there all the time.
Yeah, or for energy.
Yes, exactly.
And that's what people, we hear that term a lot that says, oh, they're feeding on our emotions. No, they're not feeding. That's just a term that...
Oh, Eric Morin joined us. Welcome. So glad to see
Mike?
you.
What the heck's up?
I don't know where Mike
Where's your
is.
sidekick?
He said he was just saying that Joyce, played by Winona Ryder's boyfriend on the show, Bob, and the actor Sean Astin was Mikey in the Goonies. Oh my gosh, he was Mike in the Goonies?
Sean Astin?
Yes, he was Mikey in the Goonies. That's where we've seen him before.
Okay. That's probably not by accident.
Small
Of course,
world. Okay, let's get on with demonology, or Ask a Demonologist. I want to remind you, folks, please subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Real Deels. Follow us on Facebook. And please, if you get a chance, share our videos. We love to meet new people. And we love to have fun with each and every one of you every week. So, starting with our fabulous list of questions. Where did our list of questions go, darling?
Do we have a list?
Yes.
I'm waiting for people from the chat room.
I know I have it somewhere. No.
And all the excitement, it was lost in the fire.
Okay, folks. I know, Joe, right? Totally drawn to strong energies, Cheryl. Exactly. All right. Yep. Here we go. Question number 1. You know, we had one from Cheryl.
It might be from last week. You got to be careful.
That's true, but I already circled the ones that I answered, so
okay.
I already got those.
Oh, you weren't on last week that long, right?
Oh, no, I wasn't. Did you do all these on the list that I've got?
That's the thing. I can't find my list.
This is it.
I didn't look for it during the show because we had other problems, obviously. Next week.
And
Where
one of the
demons go
questions
and were
that
cast
was
out. Yes, we answered that.
one of the questions that was asked.
How do you ward off a demon attack from happening? Well, that wasn't detailed and addressed.
You know, we saw that on the show we're talking about right here, Two Stranger Things. How do you ward off a demon attack? I think the first thing you have to do is, I'll let you finish up. You have to even know that you are being attacked. You have to be aware that you're being attacked. That starts with, I just read something, and I'm going to share it on Facebook in the next couple days, folks. You are either very aware of truth and are convicted by the things that you do or say to people that are not right and hurtful. You're convicted by that. Or you're completely enjoying sin, and you lie and you cheat and you steal and you do whatever you want for pleasure because you live by the passions, and your sins don't even affect you because you don't see them as sins. It's either one or the other, folks.
Yeah.
You can't be in between, because one or the other will consume you. And when we're talking about being attacked by a demon, you would need to be aware that you were attacked by the demon. You would be attracted to doing the right thing. And exactly. Because if you're just having fun and you're sinning and doing whatever, why is the demon got to attack you? You're doing what they want. There's no point in it.
That's true.
Yeah, there'd be no point.
Yeah.
Unless for whatever reason you were going to leave a position that the demon wanted you to stay in.
Yeah. As soon as you go in that direction, that's probably why people will say, I used the Ouija board for 23 years and I haven't had any problems, so therefore, because my experience is that it's safe. Okay, we'll go by that. So you get exposed to, the bubonic plague or leprosy. You don't get it, but everybody else gets it, so it's safe. Okay, thank you for your logic. But, there is variables there, too. If the guy's obviously on a path that, where the demons want him to go anyway, to hang with them, and it's not a party down here, folks. We'll take it that way. When you go on the right path, suddenly, then they're going to take advantage of their access to you from those years of the Ouija board. In other words, try to become Catholic, for example, if you were nothing before that. You were a Stephen Hawking atheist, not necessarily in his condition, but no offense to the people out there in that condition. But I'm not a fan of Stephen Hawking. I just think you give a guy too much time to think, you end up with Stephen Hawking.
He's got so much money, and he's all the way up there, and he doesn't even want to live with us? What's wrong with that boy?
We'll put him on next. No, not next week. Not next week. He's having turkey. I just don't care for the guy. I never liked him.
He might be entertaining. Be nice.
So, from the early days, whatever. You can only feel so sorry for somebody. He's still in the world doing damage, spreading his fear and his nonsense. So, I think I know where the list of questions I'll have to get up in a minute. But, whenever you're attacked, always use Jesus' name. We talk about sleep paralysis, and you shout it with your mind, because you can't speak a lot of times when you're in sleep paralysis, most of the time when it's demonic. And all you can do is shout the name of Jesus. But if you can command it to go away and be gone, or bind it away, whatever you can remember, because people can't remember their address when they're terrified, or their name, So, but you can, by God's grace, remember Jesus' name. That starts it. And then you can speak it. Then you can command it in the name of Jesus Christ, be gone, like you're ordering a burglar out or something.
That's right.
And it'll free you. And the same thing happens when you're being... And say it over and over again. Just because the first time doesn't work. When we talked about... I think it was last week. I don't remember for sure, but we said it before, that whenever you do something, just because the Bible acts like, the apostles did it, and then they left, hey, in the name of Jesus, who are you? And then they'll give you the demon name right away. Yeah, right. It doesn't work that way. That's why biblical demonologists aren't field demonologists. They're not people that can work in the field, because they don't have a reality. The Bible is limited on its detail, and it's like, okay, it doesn't happen the first time. The third time could be a charm, or many times. Sometimes you never get the demon's name, no matter what denomination you are, no matter how many archangels you have for spirit guides, or whatever they call them. There's some people out there who believe they have archangels, and you just got to pay attention to that. there are variables to the individual too. But hammer at it for 5 minutes. Don't give up after the first time. You can stop the attack. You can limit it. If it's an attack that's not going to do permanent damage or threaten your life, but it's scaring the heck out of you, don't ask yourself like, why didn't it stop after 1 minute? Or maybe it should terrify you to run to the Father, run to the light, not get closer to the darkness.
I agree.
I think that's a good answer. To summarize it up.
Totally.
Let me go see if I can grab that. And this
right,
is
while
a
you're
little
gone, I'm going to remind people, if you have any questions, I'm usually scrolling in both areas of chat, folks. So, and so is Deb. Deb is always on top of things. And, if she could, she would be right here with us. But due to our technical difficulties and our sound issues, Christopher wasn't feeling good, and Deb had some other things to take care of, or else she would be here too. We love to take your questions, especially when you're chatting along with us in Facebook or having some fun in our Demonology Today page, because we've usually got, the time to look in there and type and write down and see what's going on. So please don't hesitate. And anytime we post our phone number, we would love it if you just, call in your question, and we'll keep carrying on. But for right now, we've got Ken back. And like I said,
back from the studio closet.
The closet is right. I'm scared.
That was weird. I dumped it upside down, because I'm looking in the box and I don't have time, obviously, because we're live.
Obviously.
And you know what they were doing? These papers? They were stuck inside the box, like something trying to hide, like I turned the box upside down. It's like, it's not here. And I look in the box and it's stuck inside the bottom of it.
You're strange.
There's nothing sticky on it.
You're very strange.
So, so we had some other questions here that were more recent.
I'd say.
Yeah. Oh, this is a good one. Can a demon be turned to ashes? Without a reference to old TV shows like Buffy, there is a guy on YouTube. I should play some of these when we do a false prophet.
You really should, because it's so much fun.
Yeah. Without going into, we'll save it for that one.
Good.
Some idea that whenever there's something dramatic that happens when you successfully do a binding prayer or whatever, like they just turn to ashes and poof, and it's all gone. And I'm like, when someone asked me originally about that, I said, do you mean when they kind of like dematerialize, when they disappear? Like if you see a shadow at your bed, but we notice that they just kind of disappear in an unearthly fashion. There's nothing dramatic about it. Or in some cases, when they're more stubborn, they just slowly move away, or they slowly fade out, which also ghost apparitions or those type of things that people call residual.
Yep.
Can fade out. What's your opinion on that, Farah? That would be the kind of a manifestation turning to ashes.
Well, ask the question from the
sort?
beginning, because you bounced all over the place here.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, you did.
Can demons be turned to ashes? In other words, if
Sorry.
They're going to turn into something like dematerializing.
That's the question. Can demons be turned to ashes?
Yeah, I wonder if the person must have watched too much Buffy in the old days. Buffy the Buffer.
Buffy
from reality.
the Buffer. All right, and the funny thing is, I was just telling Antonio.
Have you seen that? You've experienced a lot.
I have,
in your past.
As far as demons being turned to ashes, as we know, folks, an ash is, this right here, this is a candle. This is wax.
Mm-hmm.
The demonic energy is not made of matter. Demons do not exist in the material world. Mm-hmm. They affect the material world only because we live in their world. They're not here as a physical object, yet they can affect. They're bound by the laws of God.
Yeah.
So if they could have been turned to ashes, they would have been turned to ashes a long time ago when St. Michael kicked them out of heaven. As far as turning anything to ashes, It is more powerful for you, if you have an ugly hate letter that you wrote to somebody, to burn this to ashes and release its hold on you, than to worry about burning a demon and turning a demon to ashes. Demons are, if they're amorphous, if they are a wisp, if they are a spirit, you have more power by praying to your angels, your guardian angel, saints, Jesus, to protect you from these invisible entities, which really have no power over you anyway.
Yeah.
So no, I've never ever heard of it, never seen it. No, demons cannot be turned to ash.
Nothing like particles or anything when they escape your presence, like they already did their dirty deed, like they scared the heck out of you when you were a kid, or they're being rebuked in your presence, during an exorcism or a house blessing with your favorite priest of the past, or however it was done. You didn't see any kind of like exit that involved a puff of smoke or something?
But that's different. That's completely different.
All right, let's see. Anything that looked like it could be like ashes?
That's not a demon being turned to ashes.
Okay, what about particles?
That is a... There again. Remember what we just watched? Do you remember the show we just watched?
Yes.
And we're talking about that show, Stranger Things.
Yeah.
It shows something very, very unusual that says that the person that wrote it either has had a near-death experience or has seen things that are not on this earth. The world that he has created, the underneath, has like a blue kind of hue cast to it, and it's got it sees from a camera's perspective. It's got particulate in the air, which we can't see it with our naked eye because it would be too much, but there's dust in the air, there's dust mites in the air, there's all sorts of things. Well, when they did this Stranger Things Underworld, you can see all the particulate, and you can also see the lights shining on it. Now, a lot of people that don't understand photography and that go out there looking for orbs and everything else, take pictures and catch this particularly, say, oh, look at this, look at this, look at this is evidence. No, it's not. It's not evidence. Why? Because we live in an organic world. Demons do not inhabit organic bodies. And what Ken's saying, he's pointing out a very good thing, is that when you're working with someone to do, to help them be delivered, assist their healing, there are signs of departure. And the signs of departure could be anything from tears, shaking. And when you're talking about ashes, no, there won't be any ashes falling from the sky or anything. But might there be a smell of smoke, a smell of roses, some mist in the air, like some vapor or some moisture? Yes, it's possible, and I've seen it. Ashes? No.
Well, there you have it. Because,
and Antonio Gum had a really good question that I want to address since we're talking about ghosts, sweetie. Antonio said, I was in an investigation for the first time ever. I encountered a spirit that asked me to pray for me. Didn't give a name or anything, just said, pray for me. And he said, that was really strange. Have you ever had that before?
Wow. Well, you know, it's a classic purgatory spirit.
Very
usually
classic.
They can't speak.
Yes, the upside down. Thank you, Steve. Sorry.
One of the confusing things for some people is that this famous case that actually brought upon the first draft of the original Roman ritual that was done by a bishop was with Nicole Aubrey. There's a documentary about it. It's part of another documentary. I think it's Driving Out the Devil. It has John Zaffis and, unfortunately, Bob Larson, which, you know, he's not... Ignore him. And it was in the 1500s. Yes. It was 80 years after the Protestant, Reformation, as they call it. And Nicole Aubrey became possessed when she was in a chapel. She was praying in there. And then what she recognizes is her dead uncle appeared in ghostly form and said, "You must pray for my soul." Wow. And then shortly after that, she becomes with symptoms of possession. And it was so difficult, as you know, that eventually, going back and forth between the Protestants and the Catholics, that a Catholic priest was told by the demon, as he tried to extract information in the name of Jesus Christ, that I can only be removed by a bishop. So they brought the local bishop in there. Oh, they named him by name. And they brought him in there. And, of course, the end result was the bishop was successful. And he's the one who drafted the original Roman ritual, the famous Roman ritual from that era. And the Council of Trent, and that sort of thing. But the point is that some people are confused. It's like, okay, she was in there praying. What made her vulnerable? And was this apparition that initially appeared to her, was it really her dead uncle asking for prayers? Because some people say that they don't necessarily appear and ask for prayers. Sister Faustina, the saint canonized by John Paul II, Divine Mercy saint, she had an experience where a nun was passed away, and she's experienced a nun in a fiery flame, the face of the nun. And it didn't say anything, but she recognized the features. I think the important thing is that they appear to the relatives, or in that case, when you become a sister, like as we are Franciscans, those are our brothers and sisters out there.
Yes.
We might have a Franciscan appear to us, but it won't mean to us as much if we don't recognize their features. So, therefore, it's probably not going to happen unless we move into their house. And then we become part of their afterlife, and we can be charitable. What's your thought on that, Farah?
About the afterlife?
On the question.
Okay. And after he goes and round about circles and asks me a question, I'm already into the next question. So, folks, I'm just going to add this, all right? Ghosts and demons, two different entities, all right? Well, they're not even entities. Two different spiritual cheeseburgers. Everybody understands. Hamburger and a cheeseburger, okay? Hamburger's plain, you get the basics, doesn't do too much. The cheeseburger, loaded with the extra cheese. The funny thing about a cheeseburger, it was against Jewish law, because you could not serve an animal cooked in its mother's milk. Kind of strange, huh? But boy, we Americans, we love our animals cooked in mother's milk. So, in determining what's possible and what's not possible, we have to look at first the laws. And there are laws for everything. And look at the laws of gravity. I mean, you can argue them as long as the day is. They're still going to be there. When you talk about, I know he was talking about Annalise and how she was potentially infested after seeing supposedly an image of her uncle that might not have been her uncle. We don't know because we're not that familiar with the case. Can you reiterate the question, honey? You ran out after talking about 5 different things.
The question was what he originally asked. You were the one who presented it.
Well, I already answered it, so I didn't know why you were asking me it again.
Oh, I just wanted to get a,
No, I already answered it. I've got a better question for you.
All right.
My darling that owns the
Live
dearest
TV, folks.
sweet peanut that my little lady has a crush on. Yes, little lady. Peanuts in the house. She has a really good question because sometimes, we might see our dead relatives after they die and they're there to comfort us. They don't contact us. They don't really talk to us. There's no reason to. God doesn't have any express reason for them to contact or tell us. They just, or talk to us because they're just there saying, hey, I'm okay. I'm in heaven. Don't worry about me. She said, what about dreams? What is it about dreams? Mm-hmm. Can your dead relatives talk to us in dreams? Steve Foster sitting there singing, wake me up before you go. Nice, Steve.
I know that's another gray area because the demons can try the same things as like I said, we suspect Nicole Aubrey was visited by a spirit pretending to be her dead uncle.
Yes.
We don't know what the relationship was, just like the boy in the original Exorcist story. They believed there was an ancestral relationship with the aunt who passed away,
which is sad.
And then he became possessed, and that she was new agey, and she introduced him to Ouija board and stuff. So the doors were open there.
But when you talk about dead relatives talking to you in your dreams, what's that all about, Ken? according to your experience.
Isn't it interesting that Mary had the angel Gabriel appear to her when she was awake, but yet in St. Joseph, he, had
had the dream.
The dream revelations.
Yep.
And he listened, and they were so clear to him. He got up and said, "We must go," and he escaped King Herod slaughtering the children 1 year and younger, and they fled into Egypt. So, I mean, that's just one example right there. And, of course, there's, why did those prophecy dreams come to the Pharaoh of Egypt, and Joseph was the only one who can interpret them? The fact was that there were prophecy dreams, and Joseph interpreted them. He's not the one who dreamed them, but they meant something to the Pharaoh because they were so clear. Okay, so on the relatives, sometimes, and I'm going to use a famous case, for example, like the Linden Street poltergeist, that if they can create obsession over the mourning of the loss of someone who's a dead relative,
yes, that's
a demonic
invitation.
Yep, that's what I mean.
That's invitation.
That one's like really a cautious one, just like even the apparition thing is more so, because you might only get one appearance, and if you're a person who knows to pray for the soul, you can take action in this life to help someone, charitably, and not do that free old spirit stuff. There's still people out there that say they freed 1 million spirits. That I use. I free trapped souls.
They watch too many.
It's not. We don't do nothing. The angels do it at the moment. We should do a show just on the intercession of angels, but I think we talked about the angels in general once before.
We've talked about angels in general.
That comes up a lot when we're talking to
This is
priests.
really important because a lot of people have dreams, and sometimes their relatives talk, and sometimes they don't. I think what we need to get very, very clear here, folks, is that it's important to dedicate your night to God. Every night before I go to sleep, not only do I say my guardian angel prayer, because I have some really wild and woolly dreams. More woolly than wild.
Woolly. Can you say that? That's a tongue twister,
No. And
Word.
Occasionally I've had wonderful dreams with my grandmother, and she's talking, and we're cooking, and we're having a great time. And then occasionally I have dreams of my sister, and she doesn't talk, but we interact. And I hear myself, but I don't hear her. I think it's important to remember that, for the most part, when our body needs to regenerate and we lay down to go to sleep, our mind, we got this great computer, okay? And this computer has to, refile everything as we sleep.
Yeah.
So a certain percentage of our dreams is going to be that refiling as our mental processes slow down and it reorganizes.
Yeah.
Since we are both body and spirit, our spirit, depending on our state of dedication to God and following God, how close we are on the path to clinging on to Him, we might get tempted. Remember Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz and the Yellow Brick Road, how she saw all those fabulous apples, and she's like, I'm hungry, I'm going to get one. And what happened? The trees turned on her, and they started throwing apples at her. Remember that? I've had dreams like that.
That's a metaphor, folks. Listen to that side.
It's a metaphor, but it's also a truophor. What I mean by that?
Parable.
Dreams can lead you into places that you don't want to go, as warnings.
Yeah, obsession.
Just like the gentleman that came to Joseph, it can be a warning of something that can happen. Not that you need to take every dream seriously, but if something scares you bad enough, think about it. Write it down. Burn it in a few days if it doesn't mean anything to you.
Yeah.
Dreams about our relatives, most of the time they're nice and they're wonderful, especially if we were close to them. Dreams about people that you didn't have a good relationship with that are dead. It could be unfinished business. It could be unresolved emotional issues that you just need to say, hey, Jesus, can you take this away from me?
Yeah.
So you have to consider the source. And also you have to protect yourself with prayer. That's the most important thing to remember before night time. And we are going over, it is the top of the hour, so we're going to have to continue our demonology lesson another night. So,
how many people are in the chat
with
room? I think I might carry it over 20 minutes, so I have a show worth putting up.
It's 10:03, honey, and it's time to say night-night. There's only a few people in chat.
Oh, just a few people?
Just a few people,
right.
yes.
See what happens when you leave early? You had a chance.
There's only a few people. But the nice thing is, it's like they can come back. As I told you, we're going to do it. We're going to run another live show just to go for the whole Christopher Sampson call-in so we can get a good soundbite going on. And that might be, we might try it this Saturday, we might do it Tuesday, but we're going to do something in the next week and a half so that we can do just a fun show for an hour, just to say hi and we miss you and that kind of thing. Because, as we know, we don't go wassailing at Turkey Day, but we will around Christmas tide. So thank you so much for joining us. God bless you. Don't forget, the battle's already been won, and we're here to help you fight the fight. Do it right. Visit us anytime at www.prayersbythebead.com for some fabulous ideas about spiritual warfare tools, beads, etc. St. Michael, St. Benedict medals. And if you need prayers, go to our website at therealdeals.com and YouTube. Find our videos. We'll be posting them there. And Ken, stop hanging your face. We'll talk to people again soon. We love you. God bless you. Thank you all so much for joining us. Jen, Joe, Denise, thank you for pitching for us. Sonia, so nice to see you. Eric, oh my gosh, you guys have been wonderful tonight. God
we'll
bless.
work on the Skype issues. Apparently that's the only thing left. Yeah, we
Skype
updated
issues.
the software, and then it changed settings. It's oh man, I don't know. I'm sorry, I keep bringing that up, but it's frustrating. It almost takes away from the show on our part. We enjoy doing it, but enough.
It doesn't take it away. We're still here, folks. We're not going anywhere.
Thanks, Farah. Yeah, here's my positive light. God bless everybody. See you next week. No, I'm sorry.
Not
if we're
next
coming
week.
to your house for Thanksgiving.
We'll see you
next
for
week.
sure 2 weeks from today, but we're going to do a little pop-in show just to keep things fresh and fun, folks.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll just we'll put that up and watch the channels.
We'll put it up. Just watch our channel, and we'll just let you know when we decide to hop in and say, "Hey, we got some fun stuff to do."
Sounds like a plan. Good.
Have a happy Turkey Day. If we miss you, God bless you all.
God bless. Good night,
gobble.
everybody.
Gobble, gobble.
Gobble, gobble. A lot of Thanksgiving
Gobble,
turkey.
gobble, 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 gobble.
Hello, this is Kenneth Deel and my wife, Farah Rose. Farah, this is something we get a lot of requests for, and people just don't know how to get a hold of us directly. By email, they would contact us at
help@swordsofstmichael.org or call us direct, 573-990-1333.
You can also text us using Facebook Messenger at Kenneth Farah Deel.
And we'll get back to you.
God bless.